If you didn't know, Seattle has some haunted history, and if you can take a tour around the city to visit the spookiest spots known for paranormal activity. And here to tell us more is Seattle Terrors guide Michael Fagenblom. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Hi, glad to be here.
So what is the most haunted place in Seattle?
According to my training materials for the tour, it is Post Alley.
What?
Yeah.
Really? What can you tell me about that?
Oh, God.
What makes it so spooky?
Well, to start off with, once again in my materials, it said that the cobblestones in Post Alley are actually rubble from the 1906 San Francisco earthquake that were brought here by ships which used them as ballast. Somebody else once told me that actually the rubble, the cobblestones, or the rubble in San Francisco previously came from another earthquake in Sacramento. Now, I haven't been able to find any proof of that, but it's a good story.
It is, and it's spooky. What are all the stops on the tours? Like, give me some of them.
Basically goes around Pike Place Market, so we start up by the Four Seasons Hotel, go down a big staircase into Post Alley, plant up there for a bit. There's 2 stops in the alley. Then we go up to the Butterworth Mortuary, the Moore Theater, and then back into Pike Place, and it sort of ends there.
Oh, okay, a nice little walk. Do you believe in ghosts? That's what I must know.
If it wasn't for one experience, I wouldn't, but I had one haunted experience that I can't think of another explanation for, so.
Can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. This was about 20 years ago at the University of Washington. I was in high school at the time. Me and a couple friends were in the Model UN, and we snuck out during the dinner hour over to the communications building, and we split up and were wandering around in there. At one point, I'm walking down a hallway, and one of the doors starts banging. Like, I assume one of my friends is on the other side and messing with me. So I go, ha ha, and open the door. There's nobody there. And I look at the doors next to it. They're both banging. They're all shaking, and they get more and more violent to the point where it's like somebody's on the other side of the door. Like, these are heavy classroom doors that have latches that keep them from just opening. So something's there. The latch is rumbling. It's unhatching, and then they're opening up, and it's like somebody's just on the other side, opening the doors, letting them go. And that's when I found my friends, and we were just staring down this hallway of all the doors doing this, and that's when we were like, let's get out of here. Yeah,
and you can't explain it. And so at that point, it's like, I believe in ghosts.
What else? It's the communications building. Maybe they had an experimental generator for communications. Isn't technology, it's communicating, so that doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't compute.
Yeah.
For those who are skeptics, how do you work to convince them? Telling that story?
I mean, I don't see it as my job to convince people of ghosts. I'm just there to tell a story, kind of spook everybody out without, there's no jump scares on the tour. It's very family friendly, but I'm still there to kind of give it a darker vibe and, just tell a story, have a good time.
Yeah.
And if you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't,
it's okay.
Yeah.
And Seattle Terrors has 2 different haunted tours, I understand. Tell us about those and how people can book them, too.
Just look up Seattle Terrors. That's the local brand of U.S. Ghost Adventures, which is a small, disabled veteran-owned business. Family-friendly, budget-friendly. Just look up Seattle Terrors online and you'll be able to find a website. We have the 2 tours. I only do the one ghost tour, but there is a second one that's a haunted pub crawl, which I did look over the material for that. It's some of the same information, but presented differently, and then there's some information that's not in the main tour. And there's drinks, obviously, because it's a pub crawl.
Does this go year-round, like these tours, too? So it's not just during, like, October?
I mean, as a tour guide, I get a lot more business in October, and the summer and October are basically the same, just the weather's different. But yeah, during the winter it gets a little dead, but we're still doing it. It's just that it might be that I'm on the schedule for 4 tours a week and I get 1 or 2.
And how did you become a spooky tour guide?
Specifically, this was back in 2021, when Facebook for a few months had job listings. Most of them were blatant scams, and this was the first one that was not a blatant scam. But I was an elevator operator at the Space Needle for almost 9 years, and I've done theater since I was about 5 years old. public speaking is one of the only things I'm good at, so, you know, what other jobs are there for that?
Oh my gosh. What are you going to be doing for Halloween? Dressing up?
Well, I have a tour.
Okay.
I'm planning to go to Kate's Pub up in Wallingford. That was one of my big watering holes back in my 20s, and it's closing down with a big Halloween party, so I'm probably going to be going to that. But, I mean, for the tour, I like to dress up a little old, because the tour is mostly about 1900 Seattle, but sometimes I like to wear armor for Halloween.
Why not? Happy Halloween. I like it.